Swiggity swag, what's in the bag? Jay here, your coach for the Carolina Keldeos of the United Championship League, or the UCL for short. And today I'm going to be going over my draft picks for the first season. So before I get into this draft video, let me go ahead and say that I don't play Pokemon competitively anymore, and I don't really know a lot of competitive stuff anymore because the metagame keeps changing. And so I want you guys to please forgive me if I say anything that is the least bit ignorant or stupid in this video, because like I said, I haven't played competitively in a while and a lot of things keep changing. Sets, spreads, and just a lot of things just keep changing in the game. And so like I said, please just forgive me if I say anything that is incorrect in this video, or if I say anything that makes you scratch your head and all that fun stuff. But I'm just in this league to have some fun with friends and stuff, so that is why I'm here. That's why I don't really too much care about my win-loss ratio, but of course I'm still gonna try to pull some wins, and hopefully the Pokemon that I drafted will do that. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into this draft analysis video. I put analysis in quotes because I'm just going to be talking about my draft picks. I don't know if it's really going to be analyzing, but let's go ahead and just jump into the video. So if you ended up missing the stream on Monday and Tuesday, well actually just Monday, I actually had the very first pick of the entire draft, and my very first pick for OU was Sylveon. Now I chose Sylveon because Sylveon is a really good support Pokemon in my opinion. Whenever I always play OU, I will always have a Sylveon on my team, no matter what, because Sylveon was just that go-to Pokemon for defense. And it's a cleric because it has heal bell and stuff. You can run toxic, wish, protect, so you can support your teammates while also supporting yourself if need be, because you need to get your HP back. It has really great special defense. It gets pixelate, hyper voice, so it can hit hard. Its special attack stat is actually not all that bad. It's actually really good. If I actually go ahead and double check, it has a special attack stat of 110, and I think 110 is actually pretty decent, because that means you can run a bulky offensive Sylveon if you need to. But usually what I use Sylveon for is defense, especially on the special defensive side, because it eats up special hits for days, and it could just recover all that HP back using Wish. So that is pretty much why I use Sylveon. Not only that, but Fairy type is just a really nice type, barring any steel types that might come along, steel types that will come along. But outside of that though, Sylveon is definitely a really great wall in my opinion, and I just had to pick up Sylveon because if I didn't pick up Sylveon and someone else did, I would have just felt really bad for not being able to pick up Sylveon, especially when I had first pick. So a lot of people probably were wondering, Jay, why didn't you pick up Lando, whatever. I honestly did not know Lando was like the most overused Pokemon in OU. I had no clue. So that's where my ignorance kind of hurts me, because it's like I could have picked up Lando, had a nice ground type, but I was only looking at Sylveon because I wanted Sylveon in a Ferrothorn core. So I was hoping and praying that no one picked up Ferrothorn, but it turns out that someone did. And then I was like, what's the next go-to Pokemon? Well, Skarmory. Skarmory's a nice steel type. It gets Roost. It has great physical defense, yada yada. But directly after Ferrothorn, Skarmory got picked up, and I was just like, well, there goes that core. So I had to kind of wait for a steel type down in RU, in UU, whatever. But for the most part though, I chose Sylveon because Sylveon is just a really great Pokemon on the special defensive side. You don't even need to invest anything in special defense, or if you do invest anything in special defense, you don't really need to max it out because it still eats hits. It has a lot of HP. Well, not a lot of HP, but it has a decent amount of HP, and it has a decent amount of special defense, so it can take special hits and heal bell, and that's just the main focus of Sylveon for me anyway. So the next Pokemon that I ended up drafting in the UCL for OU was Zygarde. Now I drafted Zygarde because, well, first of all, Garchomp was already drafted, and I was actually really sad about that because I actually wanted Garchomp because it's a great physical attacker, it's fast, it hits hard, it's essentially the better Flygon. But since Garchomp was taken, and I don't really too much care for Flygon. I was like, let's go ahead and pick up Zygarde, because why not? You know, Zygarde has a lot going for it. It has a decent special, it has a decent attack stat, which is base 100. It has decent physical defense. It also gets nice moves, Dragon Dance. I think it is Outrage as well, E-Speed, Earthquake, yada yada yada. I needed to pick up a ground type because I didn't want to be, you know, Volt Switch, I guess, fodder or whatever. I didn't want people Volt Switching on me. So if I can stop Volt Switching, I will. So I decided to go ahead and pick up Zygarde. Not only that, but Zygarde gets access to the move Glare, and if you don't know what Glare does, you can paralyze, you can pretty much shuffle their team if you want. You get Coil, and just so many things you can do with Zygarde. And I have never used Zygarde before, so I was like, you know, let me go ahead and pick up Zygarde, because why not? It's just it's an interesting Pokemon, and I really want to use it. You know, I don't too much care about the ×4 weakness to ice, because, like, I mean, it doesn't matter to me, because Zygarde is still a pretty decent Pokemon, and I feel like Zygarde can put in some work in this UCL if used correctly. Let's just hope that I can actually use Zygarde correctly. Yeah, that is pretty much why I chose Zygarde. If I actually go to some movesets on Cerebi, you get Sub, Coil, there's the Dragon Dance set as well, Dragon Dance and Rest and whatnot, and then the Parashuffler set. That is the one set that I was actually looking at. It's a physically defensive set with a Earthquake, Dragon Tail, so you can Glare and Dragon Tail and just shuffle their team around if you really want to, which is actually really nice, because I mean, come on, just paralyzing their Pokemon in general is just a really good thing, because paralyzation lowers speed, and you can just start shuffling and do pretty much whatever you want, and you'll just end up outspeeding for the most part if you just paralyze their whole team. Now, of course, they're probably not gonna let you paralyze their whole team, but like I said, that set looked really interesting, and that might just be a set that I run in the UCL. So my third pick for OU was Victini. Now, I just needed to have Victini on my team. I am very, I guess, sad that Victini was BL and not UU, because Victini was UU for the longest time, and I always used Victini and UU, whether it was a physical or a special set, because like I said, because Victini has 100 across the board, okay? And so it could be physical or special. Now, sometimes I run special over physical, because people kind of expect me to run, you know, a V-Crave Victini, but it's like, no. I'm gonna run a Fire Blasting Victini. So just in case you want to try to switch in a physical wall on Victini, I'll just pop you off with a Fire Blast or a Thunder or a Focus Blast or a Psychic, and it still hits just as hard, you know. There's Stab with Psychic and Fire Blast. It has Victory Stars, so it can boost its boost the accuracy of its moves. Not only that, but you can run a Choice Banded Victini, Choice Scarf, Choice Specs, Life Orb, Expert Belt if you want to actually bluff the choice item. There's so many things you can do with Victini. It gets access to U-Turn, I do believe, as well, so you can U-Turn out and whatever. And if you have a Volt Switcher, you have a Volt Turn on your team right then and there. There you go. It's just a really versatile Pokemon, and I just really love Victini's versatility, and that is essentially why I picked up Victini. It's also a really hard hitting fire type, and I really wanted to get a hard hitting fire type early on, before someone else picked up Victini, because I'm honestly very afraid of Victini, because with a Choice Scarf and you hit with a V-Crate, V-Crate still hits hard, even if you're not like an Adamant Nature or whatever. If you have max attack and max speed and you're a Choice Scarf Victini, you're just gonna be putting a dent in something that doesn't resist. So that's all I'm saying. And you know, I just want to put dents in people's teams with Victini, so that is why I chose Victini. So now that we're done with the OU picks, let's go ahead and drop down to the UU picks. And my first UU pick was Fortress, and it was Fortress because, well, I had the opportunity to pick up a Steel type, and I was looking at Aggron and I was looking at Mega Aggron, but I was just like, you know, do I really want my Mega to be Aggron? Not saying that Mega Aggron or anything is bad, because it's not. Believe me, that physical defense, I can't even talk, okay? That physical defense is absolutely monstrous, okay? But I was just like, do I really want Aggron? Because I was looking, I was like, what if I'm able to pick up Registeel, or what if I'm able to pick up Bronzong down in the lower tiers? Then this would be kind of a waste of a pick. So let's go ahead and just pick up another steel type. And I just went with Fortress, because Fortress not only is Fortress a steel type, and it has a nice physical defense, but it also is a good spinner, okay? It gets rapid spin, it sets up all hazards, and not only that, but it also has, you know, explosion, sturdy, all that fun stuff. And so if for whatever reason, you know, my Fortress takes a hit, as long as I'm at full HP, I can still live and set up some sort of hazards before eventually losing my Fortress. But Fortress is just a really good spinner, and I didn't know if I was gonna have access to a spinner down in the lower tiers. Well, of course I would have probably had access to a spinner down in like NU or something, but but Fortress is just a rapid spinner that I want. I just wanted Fortress, and like I said, it has great physical defense. I really enjoy using Fortress. I always enjoy using Fortress, and I was just thinking, you know, hey, maybe a Fortress Sylveon core would do nicely. I don't know, maybe possibly, I don't know. But Fortress is kind of sort of just a backup steel type, honestly, because I was looking, I was like, you know what, the real target right now is Bronzong, Steelix, or Registeel down in RU. But let me go ahead and pick up Fortress, because there's no guarantee that I was gonna get those picks down there. So let me go ahead and get this Fortress now, because it's not like I completely hate Fortress, because I don't. I love Fortress. So that is pretty much why I picked up Fortress. And your Fortress, it sets up hazards, gets rid of hazards, has sturdy, and it's just a really good Pokemon defensively, on the physical defensive side anyway. But that is why I picked Fortress. So moving on with the UU picks, I was looking at my team, and I felt like I didn't have a really good offensive Pokemon. Now, when I say good offensive Pokemon, I mean there's Victini, but I wanted something else. I needed something else, and Leo had just drafted Cresselia, and that is a very scary Pokemon. Not only that, but Patters also drafted Mega Venusaur and Slowbro. Now, of course, at the time of the draft, we didn't really know if Patters was going to use Mega Slowbro or Mega Venusaur, but that core was still really scary, and I wanted something that could, you know, really, I was just targeting Leo because I didn't want to deal with a Cresselia. So if I can hit Cresselia hard somehow, some way, let's just go ahead and get this Pokemon. So I went ahead and picked up Honchkrow. I didn't have a flying type, and I needed a flying type on my team. And Honchkrow also has access to Moxie, which is really great, because if you pick off a weak Pokemon, you can get the Moxie boost and pretty much set up a potential sweep. It hits pretty hard on the physical side, has great physical attack. It has nice moves. I do believe it gets Pursuit as well, so if you want to Pursuit Trap, you can, which I really like. So if you want to Pursuit Trap Cresselia, which I mean, it's probably not going to die to a Pursuit anyway, but it still hits pretty freaking hard on a Cresselia, because it's super effective, stab, yada. Or I could just run Night Slash and get like a high crit ratio, even get a crit, and possibly not Oko Cresselia. There's no possible way I'm gonna Oko Cresselia without any stat boost. But if I can put a dent in the Cresselia, then that's all I really wanted. And I just wanted some really good a Pokemon that is good on the physical side, I guess. I don't know what I'm trying to say, really. I don't know. I'm kind of just like falling all over my words, but hopefully you guys understand what I'm trying to say. Basically, Honchkrow hits nicely on the physical side. That's what I wanted. It's a dark type. I needed a dark type. It's great. It does good. I think it does good. I want it to do good. There's Patters, there's Leo. We need them out of here. I feel like Honchkrow can put a dent in their teams. That's really what I wanted. There you go. That is why I chose Honchkrow. So my last pick for the UU tier was Mega Blastoise. Now I chose Mega Blastoise because Blastoise is one of those megas that doesn't need to go mega to be good, okay? Because Blastoise is still really great. It has nice bulk to it. It gets access to Scald, Rapid Spin, Ice Beam, Protect, all those moves. and it's just a really good support Pokemon. But I drafted Mega Blastoise as well. So with having Mega Blastoise, Mega Blastoise has Mega Launcher, so if I want to run Water Pulse, I can. I'm probably just gonna run Scald though, because I mean Scald has that 30% chance of burn, and we know that 30% means 70% in the Pokemon game. So I was just like, you know what, let's just go ahead and pick up Mega Blastoise. It's still a great spinner, gets access to Dragon Pulse, Aura Sphere as well, and I just wanted to have a bulky offensive Pokemon, and Mega Blastoise is really great for that. So that is why I drafted Mega Blastoise. And like I said, it has more than one use. Like, it has Rapid Spin as well. So boom, bam, boom, there you go. Rapid Spin hits hard on special side. That's what I want. So that's why we drafted Mega Blastoise. So moving down into the RU tier, my very first pick for RU, and I was so glad that no one took this, but my very first pick was Registeel. Now, I was looking at Bronzong, but I think Nips ended up taking Bronzong, and I wanted Bronzong because Bronzong sets up hazards. It has Levitate, so it's not weak to Earthquake, so that's a ground immunity, which is really nice. Now, of course, I already have a ground immunity in the form of Honchkrow, but having one in the form of like a wall is actually really good. Bronzong can also set up screens and stuff as well. Bronzong is just a really great Pokemon, and you know, a Bronzong / Sylveon core I feel like would have been a pretty nice core in my opinion, because everything that Sylveon is more or less weak to, Bronzong exists, barring Steel, but still I feel like Bronzong can take a nice hit from a Steel type, so there's that. And you don't even have to run Levitate, you can run Heat Proof, so if they want to hit you with a Fire type move, it's like, oh well, it's only going to be doing but so much damage because of my ability Heat Proof, and they won't know it has Heat Proof until, you know, they do the damage calcs or whatever, or they go for Earthquake on an off chance and it actually hits you. That's when they'll know if it has heat proof or not, but it's still up in the air when it comes to Bronzong, whatever. But we weren't fortunate enough to draft Bronzong, we weren't fortunate enough to draft Skarmory or Ferrothorn, and so I was looking at Steelix and I was like, you know what, Steelix is good because that's an electric immunity, that's another electric immunity, it's like another ground type. Steelix's physical defense is out of this world, still gets access to Stealth Rock and stuff, also has Gyro Ball because it's pretty slow, so if you send in something that's faster, boom, it's gonna hit pretty hard. Heavy Slam because Steelix is pretty heavy and outweighs a lot of things in the game anyway, so there's that. But Steelix ended up getting drafted as well, so I ended up going with Registeel. Now I chose Registeel because I mean come on, Registeel defensively is amazing. Its physical and special defense are both the same, it's equal on both sides. It gets Seismic Toss, it gets Thunder Wave, it gets Stealth Rocks, EQ, Iron Head, I mean, you name it. It can paralyze people, it can possibly flinch with Iron Head if you really want to go that route. It gets Clear Body, so you can't lower its stats or anything. It gets Seismic Toss, so it'll be doing a set amount of damage each turn, regardless of what your defense is or whatever. It's immune to poison, so it complements very well with Sylveon. So like a Sylveon Registeel core could work, and that's what I really wanted in this league. I wanted to be able to switch up my core at will, so it's like I don't necessarily have to use Sylveon and Fortress or Sylveon and Zygarde or whatever, or Sylveon and Registeel or whatever. I can just switch up the core at any point in time, and you know, no one will ever know what my core will be because, well, I can switch it up as many times as I want, you know. So that is what I really wanted in this league, and I was just really lucky to draft Registeel. I always loved using Registeel back when I played like in RU, even UU, you know, I would use Registeel from time to time just because like I said, you can run Registeel on the physically defensive, specially defensive, or just really whatever. But I think usually you run it especially on the special side. But I don't know how I'm gonna run this Registeel. It'll probably end up being physically defensive, but again, that's kind of situational depending on what my team is and how I'm going to use each Pokemon on the team. But definitely Registeel was a really nice pickup in my opinion, because like I said, his defenses are just really nice. So that is why I picked up Registeel. So moving on with my RU picks, my second RU pick, and I think this was a wheel pick for me. I wanted to go ahead and nab this Pokemon because this is one Pokemon I'm actually really afraid of, and that Pokemon is Golbat. Now you're probably thinking, Jay, why are you afraid of a Golbat? Now this goes back to, I mentioned this on the stream. This goes back to when I battled Shady, and I think he used an Eviolite Golbat. I want you to know, Eviolite Golbat swallows hits. Okay, like trying to kill this thing, it's you just can't. Okay, it gets access to Roost, Super Fang, Defog, it's just such a great Pokemon, especially for support and for defense. This thing is absolutely it's just crazy. Okay, it is just crazy how good an Eviolite Golbat really is. Okay, like if someone's trying to stall Super Fang, it's like boom, that's half of their HP gone. So if they're at full HP, no matter what, they're at half of their HP now. Defog for hazards, Brave Bird so you're not taunt bait. What else was there? Roost for recovery. That's just really great. Now of course, if they predict you go for a Roost and they go for EQ, well, I mean you'll probably live the EQ just because like your defenses are absolutely out of this world. But I feel like Golbat is definitely one of those Pokemon that fully utilizes the Eviolite, and I just needed to pick up Golbat because if I didn't pick up Golbat and someone else did, then I know that I will be having a lot of trouble with Golbat. And so I was just like, let me go ahead and get this Golbat now before anyone else gets it, and that is what we did. So I think I ended up sniping a few people, but good, because I didn't need to see Golbat on anyone else's team except for my own. So that is pretty much why I drafted Golbat. And I'm sorry if any of these explanations are kind of half-hearted or whatever, or not even half-hearted, but they don't really explain a lot. But like I said, I wasn't really paying attention to anyone else's draft picks except for Leo, because he was drafting absolutely annoying Pokemon. Patters too, but I mean Leo and Patters, they're really their stuff is really annoying. So is Christian, cause he has a lot of bulk as well. Like there are people in the league that have a lot of bulk, and Golbat is gonna be great for that. So yeah. And my final RU pick was Sneasel. Now I want you guys to know this pick was absolutely clutch, okay? Because, well, we were going through the RU tier and I ended up getting the bottom of the barrel. When I say bottom of the barrel, I mean there was nothing in RU that I wanted. I got the last pick for RU. I didn't want anything in that tier, okay? I didn't want anything else in that tier, okay? I had Typhlosion on my list because Nexus was like, you know, oh, Typhlosion kind of pops the Golbat Registeel core. So I was like, okay, so let me go ahead and avoid my core being destroyed by swiping Typhlosion. Well, no, that didn't quite happen. I think Luke ended up getting Typhlosion, so that was out. I didn't want Camerupt. I didn't really want Medicham, unless it was Mega Medicham, but I think Mega Medicham is BL. So if I had gotten Medicham would have been just regular Medicham from there, and I didn't really want that. And it was just like there's nothing left. But luckily Joey came through and he said, yo, pick up Sneasel. It just got moved to BL3 or RU, whatever, and it's really great. It's a great ice type. It gets knockoff, I do believe. It's stab. It's bloody fast. Why did I say bloody fast? I don't know why I said that, but it's really fast. Especially for an unevolved Pokemon, it's just really fast. I think it has base 95 attack. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm actually gonna go ahead and Google it right now. You probably saw a light on my face. No, it does have base 95 attack. Base 95 attack, base 115 speed. It's just really fast. It gets priority in the form of Ice Shard, Pursuit Trapper as well. So it was just a really nice Pokemon to pick up, and I am so glad that I'm so glad everybody kind of just overlooked Sneasel. Especially because I guess people thought Sneasel was NU, and I didn't even know Sneasel was RU until Joey told me, because it updated on the Smoggin site, but it didn't update on Showdown. So luckily someone was paying attention, and we went ahead and picked up Sneasel. Like I said, it gets knockoff. I wanted a knockoff user on my team, and I think there was one knockoff user that I wanted, but I didn't really end up getting it. So Sneasel is a great next best thing. So yeah, that's why we got Sneasel now. So big shout out to PokeAim, aka Joey, for suggesting me getting the Sneasel, because I mean, honestly, there was nothing left in RU. It was literally just close my eyes and pick something and just move on. But luckily there was like a speck of gold down in the bucket, and we went ahead and just picked up Sneasel. So that is why Sneasel is now on our UCL team. So now let's go ahead and head on down to NU, and my very first pick for NU, a lot of people thought I was gonna go Electivire, but I felt like I needed something a little faster, and it could be a great Volt Switcher. Now, I was looking at Electrode, but I think Christian ended up scooping up Electrode, and so I was like, what else is there down in NU? And I looked at it and I was like, Electabuzz. So very first pick of the NU tier was Electabuzz, because if you guys didn't actually know, when Electabuzz evolves into Electivire, it loses speed, and what I wanted was something a little fast that can Volt Switch, and I wanted to pick up Jolteon back in RU, but Shady, I think, ended up getting first pick in RU, and he just swiped up Jolteon right then and there, and I was just like, well, so I was like, well, let's go ahead and look down in NU for some Volt Switchers, and I saw some potential Volt Switchers, but I was like, you know what, Electabuzz, because Electabuzz not only is fast, but it has decent special attack, base 95, I do believe, and not only that, but it also is a great candidate for the Eviolite, so you can slap an Eviolite on it. It has pretty decent defenses, can take a hit or two, whatever, or you can be a Scarf. You can get a Scarf one, Specs, I don't know, whatever you really want, to be completely honest. I just wanted to have a Volt Switcher on my team, so I can I guess, what's the term, pivot switch, so I can have it to switch out and switch into something else, I guess, quote unquote, safely, so I won't have to hard switch and lose out on a turn attacking Pokemon and whatnot. Of course, there is the whole ground immunity thing on everyone's team, which is why you can run HP Ice on it. And so if they try to predict you to go for the Volt Switch, you can just HP Ice and potentially pick off something on their team that they desperately needed, and then you can Volt Switch freely and they can't stop you no matter how hard they try. So that is pretty much why I picked up Electabuzz. I just wanted a fast Volt Switcher, and Jolteon was out of the question. I didn't really want an Emolga because that was another rock weakness on my team, and I already had a lot of Pokemon weak to rock, being Victini, Honchkrow, and Sneasel. So I just was like, you know what, I don't want that. I didn't want something else weak to rock or anything. So let me go ahead and pick up this Electabuzz and be on my merry way, and that is essentially what we did. So my second pick for the NU tier was Primeape. Now, I was debating on whether I should choose Primeape, Girder, or Sock, but I went with Primeape because I've never used Primeape before. I've seen other people use Primeape, and it actually puts in some nice work. Not only that, but it has a decent physical attack stat. I think it's 105. So 105 attack. decent speed, run like a choice scarf on or whatever. You can run a choice bandit as well if you really want to. But I think the main thing that stuck out to me for Primate was that it had U-turn, and I like me some U-turn and volt switch. I love me some volt turning action. I love volt turn just because it allows me to switch while it's still doing some type of damage and whatnot. And it was just really nice to have, you know. And I just kind of wanted Primate, to be honest. I think it gets gunk shot as well, so it can hit pretty hard. And if they want to switch in a fairy type, I mean, by all means, here's catch a gunk shot. Believe me, it's very scary when you see gunk shot coming from a physical attacker. I've had that happen to me on Bayonet. I had a Florges, and someone sent in, I think it was Shady actually. Yeah, it was Shady. I think he had a Bayonet with gunk shot, and my Florges kind of just died, and I was like, okay, so you know, I can go ahead and throw a gunk shot at a fairy type if I really want to. But for the most part though, Primate was just a really interesting choice. It was just like, you know what, I've never used it, let's use it. So that's why I ended up picking up Primate. And my final pick for the entire draft was Ludicolo. Now honestly, at this point in the draft, I didn't too much care about what I got. Honestly, I think this was a recommendation from I think PK and Nexus. They was just kind of like, you know, hey, pick up Ludicolo because, you know, why not? I was looking at Gourgeist because I didn't have a ghost type, I didn't have a spin blocker, but Gourgeist was gonna put another like fire weakness on my team, and I have plenty of fire weaknesses on my team right now. So I was like, let's not go Gourgeist. Let's go. I was looking at like a grass type. I was like, I need a grass type, and I need a ghost type because I want a spin blocker, but I also want someone that is immune to sleep powder. And it's like, oh, Gourgeist is a great choice, but it's weak to fire. So it's like, I don't really want that. So what else could I possibly choose? So I was looking at Ludicolo, and I was like, I mean, Ludicolo, you know, it doesn't have the fire weakness because of its water typing. It doesn't have an electric weakness because of its grass typing. Ludicolo might come in handy, but let's go ahead and just look at something else. I'll look at some other things. But this was pretty much suggested by Nexus and PK, I do believe. I think Joey was suggesting Torterra, but before I even saw his suggestion, I already chose Ludicolo. But Ludicolo was just that one pick that I didn't really too much care about. I was just kind of like, Ludicolo, it's whatever. I don't know if I'm actually gonna ever use Ludicolo, but it's just a nice Pokemon to have. It's a nice water grass type. It's a grass type, so if I need it for whatever reason to block sleep powder, there you go, that works. Yeah, you know, I don't know if there were any overcoat Pokemon down in you that I actually wanted, so I was just like, let's just go with Ludicolo and just call it a day, because I was already tired at that point. I was just like, I don't really too much care about what I get at this point, you know. Like, I would have chosen Sudowoodo, to be honest, but I was recommended Ludicolo, and that is why we picked up Ludicolo. And that is going to go ahead and do it for the analysis of my draft picks and my explanation on why I chose each Pokemon. Hopefully people can understand my thought process and whatnot, and you know, don't completely and totally destroy me in the comment section. But yeah, I'm like I said, I'm not here to win. Well, I mean, I guess I am here to win, but I'm just kind of here to have fun, because like I said, you know, I don't play competitively anymore, so it's like, you know, there are a lot of other people in the league that play competitively, so it's not like you know, I think I'm gonna lose the entire league, but it's like winning or losing does not matter to me at all. That's like the last thing I actually really care about. Of course, I'm still gonna try to win with the Pokemon that we did pick, but I'm just here to have fun overall. I just want to have some fun with friends, and that is essentially how I see this entire league. Maybe next season, if I am in the next season, I will try to pick up much better Pokemon and much scarier Pokemon, so then I will be deemed as a threat in the league. And maybe, you know, hey, maybe I'll learn a thing or two in this league, because this is honestly a lot different than actually playing competitively, because you know what your opponent has. You can counter team, or you can strategize based on what they have and what you think they'll bring. And I kind of like that. I kind of like how it's just a little bit different than actual competitive battling, because it's still playing competitively, but because you know what your opponent has, you can counter team, and it just adds an extra level of strategy to the gameplay, and that's really all it is. But I'm just here to have fun. Hopefully you guys have fun too. Don't forget to leave a like if you did enjoy this little draft analysis video and whatnot, and let me know down in the comment section below, you know, what are some good sets, or what are some good teams or cores that I could run on my team, because I'm gonna need as much help as possible, especially facing people who play competitively all the time, because like my first few weeks are absolutely brutal. I think I faced what, Nexus? No, I faced Twit first, and then I faced Leo, Nexus, and Dan, aka A Drive, you know, back to back to back, and that's like, oh gosh, that all three of them play competitively, so you know, I'm kind of scared. But I'm hoping and praying that we can get through this league at least with like maybe 1 or 2 wins. Hopefully 1 or 2 wins. That will satisfy me. But yeah, leave down in the comment section below, you know, some advice, some helpful tips or whatever based on a Pokemon you saw me draft in this video or in the draft video on the stream, whatever. But yeah, and wish me the best of luck in this league. I hope you guys do enjoy this league. I will leave everyone else's channel down in the video description below. Also, go check out the UCL Twitter, because all of the matches and all your updates from the UCL will be on the UCL Twitter. It is, I think it's UCL official, so go follow the Twitter, and yeah, go check out everyone else's channel and everyone else's analysis their picks and analysis videos and stuff like that. And I am looking forward to uploading the very first battle on, I do believe, the 25th of July. But without further ado, I'm gonna go ahead and get up out of here. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Peace.